Hey everyone, let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me there in the chat. Okay, okay. I'm in a hotel room, so you guys know that when the internet and hotel rooms sometimes it's kind of janky. So I have it going here on my phone. My phone gives me the best results for streaming in hotel rooms, but I wasn't able to add myself. I couldn't see where to add myself here. Anyway, I'm 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 live. Okay, I'll have to figure this out by tomorrow. All right, Antoine Michael, thank you for being here. I was gonna go earlier, but Maize and Blue Mike. Let me focus here. Maize and Blue Mike said, "Hey, you should go on at 7:30 so I can participate." So that's why I'm doing this here. Let me make sure I can see myself on the YouTube side. Let's see. Okay, yep, there I am. Well, there's an ad. Let me stop that. Yeah, the previous times when I streamed off this phone, well, off a phone, it was with my Google Pixel 6. I smashed the screen, unfortunately, in November, and now I have this Google Pixel 7, and I should have been able to do everything from the phone, but hey, I'm here. I got the computer and the phone going. Let me play my intro, guys, and then I'll jump in. I've got a few points. Mike, if you want to come up and say something, or if Antoine, if you want to come up and say something, by the time I get done, I'll drop the links. You can come up. But I just want to say a few points here. I haven't done anything recently, and yeah, there's a lot going on with Michigan football and college football in general. So I'll see you guys on the other side of this.
I was going to say this probably makes for a more interesting game next year. This is like because I feel like Michigan coming into next year, they're expected to win against Ohio State now, right?
Right.
2 butt whoopings, game in the big house. I feel like that's probably the next biggest test for them is Ohio State's going to come in. They're hungry. They've lost 2 in a row. They want this game, right? They want this game.
And what you said earlier, Alex, applies
What-
to that because we're the hunted instead of being the hunter.
Exactly. And I feel like almost the roles have kind of been flipped, where Ohio State's now going to be the hunter, Michigan's going to be the hunted. And what do you do in that position? I feel like if they can figure that piece out, right? That I feel like that's probably like the final test for them to overcome the things that kind of happened yesterday in order for them to win a national championship. So next year is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, we're just going to have to subscribe to our own philosophy. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, because we'll always have that hunter's mentality, because a hunter versus a hunter, the more experienced hunter always wins. And that's what we got to do. That's a part of that learning process of how to win on championship level. We got to do that.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am the content creator for this channel, and I am a proud Michigan alum and a proud supporter of our Michigan Wolverines. So hey guys, it's March 9th. No, it's March 8th, 2024. I was going to do this stream earlier, but Maize and Blue Mike said you should go a little bit later so I could participate. So I was getting ready for the stream here and watching Forensic Files. That's an eerie show. But yeah, I just want to come on and say a few points. I hadn't done anything over here recently, and there's a lot of news to report. And yeah, so let's jump in. So yeah, I'm here on the beach, at the beach, Delaware, uh, Dewey Beach, Delaware, on a writer's retreat, finishing up my book, The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story. So I thought I'd get a stream in as well, as I hadn't done anything over here recently. And I spoke with Johnny Olden, and I think we're going to link up before the month is over. So look out for that, probably midweek on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And I just learned something just now that me and Johnny are gonna laugh about this quite a bit. But all right, so yeah, so the drop you just heard, or the intro you just heard, Mason Blue Mike, that was Mason Blue Mike and Buckeye Alex. That was immediately in the aftermath of the TCU game 2 years ago. So Alex was talking about Michigan would be the hunter at that point versus the hunted, and that would make for a very, very intriguing Ohio State game the next year, which it actually did. Ohio State came in with something to prove. Cal McCord was the quarterback. They had Maserati Marvin. Our head coach, our former head coach, was banned, suspended for the game, and Antoine's comment just distracted me. Well, Antoine, after I go out, what's this saying? He says, "Nice, Doc. You operate on any women down there at the beach." No, no, no. It's not that type of party. But yeah. So they brought in Kyle McCord, a Maserati Marvin, and Ryan Day, and they had a healthy Travion Henderson, and our coach was suspended for that game. So there was a lot going into that game. There was a lot of emotion going into that game, and Michigan ended up pulling it out. Kyle McCord got thrashed after the game. He left Columbus, but it was a very, very prophetic discussion with me, Buckeye Alex, and Mason Blue Mike there in the chat. So I thought that was a cool intro to use for this stream. Michigan either going to be the hunted or the hunter. And so now, after the turnover from the national championship, I don't know what Michigan's going to be next year. I think we're going to go back to being, well, I think they're going to be a lot of hunters in the new Big Ten conference next year. I don't know. Well, Ohio State, they've been stacking up talent. They've made some roster additions, and so I think maybe they're the favorite for the Big Ten title next year, but it's going to be a completely different landscape with the 14-team playoff. So several different teams will be able to get into the playoff and have a chance to win the national championship. Antoine still, Antoine, the other thing is it's not summertime yet. It's still a little bit chilly here. So I went to the beach a little bit earlier. There weren't a lot of folks out. I had my gloves and I had on some layers. So it's still a little bit chilly here on the ocean. Okay. I suspect during the summertime, it'll be a little bit different. Please smash that like button if you haven't. The likes are free. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Okay, so I got a few points here. I'll drop the link in a little bit if someone wants to come up. If not, I'm going out to have some dinner and some more drinks here on the beach. So, yeah, so me and Mason Blue Mike, we were texting earlier. I think he's still feeling the euphoria from the national championship. It's interesting because I think while a lot of us were happy to have the national championship, we haven't really we were able to enjoy it, but there was so much movement afterwards in terms of Coach Harbaugh going out to San Diego and the majority, well, all of the defensive staff leaving. That was like the news immediately after the national championship. So we kind of didn't get to enjoy it in its entirety for too long without these other things going on, but it is what it is. But I do still find myself watching footage from that season, the Penn State game. That was one of my favorites. I was at the Maryland game. That was kind of scary. The Ohio State game, that one was surreal. That was the last time I saw Raheem Gaines, rest in power. But that whole second half of the season with Coach Harbaugh getting suspended initially, well, having the self-imposed suspension at the beginning of the season, and then having Tony Petitti buckle under the pressure of the other Big Ten schools and the Big Ten coaches, and then Jim being suspended for those final 3 games. That was all kind of surreal because, you had this dream season unfolding, and then it was in doubt, and then, well, it was a team of destiny. Team 144 was a team of destiny, and they were, as Jim said, America's team. And they had a lot of injuries towards the end of the season down the stretch, so they beat Iowa decisively in the Big Ten championship game, but they still didn't look impressive. And then, we drew Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding that because Bama fan was talking so much trash, and everybody was talking about how scared Michigan was to play Bama. And, Bama fan almost had me convinced that Michigan was going to blow a fight against them. But Michigan came ready to play. They weren't afraid of Bama. And it turns out that if Michigan had not shot itself in the foot the number of times that it did against Bama, Michigan would have won that game probably by more scores or by a larger margin than when they won. It wouldn't have come down to such a dramatic finish. Please smash that like button if you haven't. So yeah, I still find myself watching the Rose Bowl footage, watching Donovan's long runs against the Washington defense, watching Michigan pound that Penn State defense into submission. I still find myself watching those things while wondering what Team 145 is going to look like. Okay, so the spring game is on April 20th. As my father says, it's my intention to go. It's my intention to go to the spring game. I am going. I have a one-way ticket there. I think Maize and Blue Mike is going, so I have to plan to come back to the DMV. But my intention is to go to the spring game. So if anyone else is going to the spring game, hey, I'll be there. I think Maize and Blue Mike is going to be there. So yeah, if you guys want to make a social event out of it, we can make a social event out of it. We could have toss some drinks back afterwards or before. But April 20th at the Big House, the spring game. It'll be my very first spring game. I know that's surprising with me being an alumnus, but when I was a student there, I was hemmed up and bogged down with a lot of other things. Maize and Blue Mike. See, Maize and Blue Mike says tentatively. You know what? Another buddy did this to me 2 weeks ago for the CIAA tournament in Baltimore. He said, yeah, man, we need to go to the CIAA tournament. So I blocked off my calendar. And then he said at the last minute, man, I'm not going to the tournament. Well, Maize and Blue Mike, I'm going now, or else I'm going to have to get my Delta credit for that flight. Okay. So Fletch Lives Daily. Never seen you before. Thank you for being here. He says, hey, Doctor, what do you think of the coaching carousel at Michigan? Are things that bad that they want to leave? Antoine and Mike, you guys can take a stab at that. I actually have a piece here talking about the new defensive hires. And we know that Mike Hart is taking his talents somewhere else. So what I'll say right now, I have some bullet points here, is that one of the toughest things to go through in any sport is a coaching change, especially when it's the top guy, and the top guy has the pedigree that Jim Harbaugh did coming off the national championship. Some players come to that school, well, at any level beyond Little League or wherever where the positions are just given to kids. Pretty much at any other level, kids are going to play for a certain coach. So when that coach leaves, there's a high likelihood that the culture is going to change. And a lot of those kids have emotional ties to that particular coach. Or in the case of a major Division I college football team, maybe it wasn't that head coach that recruited those kids, but maybe one of the assistants that recruited those kids. So when those assistants leave, well, those kids are like, well, I came here to play for Coach Klink, or I came here to play for Coach Mentor, or I came here to play for Coach Partridge. I came here to play for them. They left. Michigan's a nice school, but I came here to play for them. So you see that. So I just think that, yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough having a coaching change, because especially if those coaches help set a culture, and then the challenge for the next coach is to keep the players, get the players to stay, and also to keep that culture going. So, and we're seeing this all play out right now. Let me see. Let me read some comments here. Let's see. Antoine's talking about therapeutic treatment and all kinds of things. Let's see. Michael says, he has his wine and dine style. Okay. He says, right, coming out in the smoking jacket in his pipe. You know what? Actually, tonight I do want to light up a cigar. It was a long week. The 9 to 5 kind of beat me up a little bit this week, and I would like to puff on a cigar. Let's see. Michael Burden says tentatively. Mason Blue Mike says tentatively. Well, I hope you can come, Mason Blue Mike, because right now I have plans to go. Fletch Lives Daily says, Umatilla, Florida in the house. Go Gators. Okay. Antoine says things are not bad at all at Michigan. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Fletch Lives Daily says, I just don't get these coaches leaving unless it is for a head coaching position. Well, you know what, Fletch? I was thinking about this as Harbaugh was doing his annual ritual in terms of shopping himself around. In the professional world, that's not unusual for professionals to shop themselves around just to see what they can get and just to see how much they're wanted at their current position. And so that's not unusual. And also, when someone gets passed over for the promotion or for a promotion, it's not unusual for their feelings to be hurt a little bit and to say, you know what, I've given X amount of time here at this place. I should have been the head coach. I'm leaving. I don't know exactly what Mike Hart's motivations were for leaving. I don't know how badly he wanted the head coaching position, but this is the professional world. Okay, it's competitive. Folks want to ascend, and folks feel like, once they've been in a particular station or team for so long, they should be the next man up for the promotion. Antoine says they're going to the NFL. What are you talking about? I know that. Yeah, we know in Jesse Minter's case, Jesse Minter, Mike McDonald, they were a part of the Ravens family tree. They were kind of rented out by John Harbaugh. So their intention was to always go back. And Jesse Minter interviewed for a job in the NFL last year. So for some of those guys, it's not a surprise that they would go, especially with Jim going to the NFL himself. Let's see, Antoine says, if anything, Michigan has a vast web of resources and friends in the NFL. Fletch says, I understand NFL. It doesn't mean better. Where is Hart going? Yeah, I don't think anybody knows where Hart is going. Antoine says, I believe he has a medical condition, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. Yeah, he had a health scare on the sideline last year. I think it was against Indiana. He says, remember Mike Hart had fainted on the sidelines last year. I believe it's related, but I'm not sure. The good thing is I think good old Fred Jackson is still on the sidelines for us. So he was the running backs coach under Lloyd Carr. So it's not like, yeah, the running game is going to be completely left hanging. Let's see. It says PK. I just didn't know what was going on with Hart. Gonna miss him. Michael says folks need to be humble. And then Fletch says, on the other hand, these coaches can go to the Chargers all day. Good luck betting KC. Okay. Betting KC. All right, let's see. So, yeah, the spring game is on April 20th. In terms of the roster, you know, we lost Reese Atberry. I think he might have been one of the next kids up to start on the offensive line. A big loss was Keon Sabb from our defensive backfield. So the word on the street is that the big thing was that he wanted to start. So he didn't want to be rotated on and off the field, and he didn't want to share playing time with some of the other guys. So that's what I'm hearing about why Keon Sabb left. I think that's a big loss because when Keon Sabb was in there, Keon Sabb made plays in some of the bigger games. So, but I think we have enough depth in the backfield, the defensive backfields, in such a way that that's not going to hurt us too badly. But certainly, Keon Sabb was a very, very talented player and a young player, so he had a lot of years left. But the defense, otherwise, as Joe Platt says, the run wall seems to be intact. We have Mason Graham coming back. We have Kenneth Grant coming back. We have Derek Moore coming back. The linebacker core, I think that's going to turn over because Barrett's gone, and one of Johnny Olden's favorite players, Junior Colson, is gone. But Hausman, we got Hausman. Hausman's coming back. Who else is coming back in that linebacker core? You guys let me know who else is coming back in that linebacker core. But the core of the defense is coming back. You know, you got Will Johnson, you got Rod Moore, you got Will Johnson, Rod Moore, Makari Page. I think Makari Page is coming back. You have a group of guys coming back, a group of veteran guys. So yeah, so that unit, for the most part, we're going to have a lot of experience and talent on that side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to get to the quarterback in a little bit, but in terms of the skill position players, we've got Samaj Morgan coming back. We've got Tyler Morris coming back. You've got Colston Loveland coming back at the tight end position. The defensive backfield is going to be loaded, led by Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullings. And we have some new people coming in. So the defensive backfield, that should be one of our strongest position groups. Now, the offensive line, we're losing guys from the offensive line like Zach Zinter and Trevor Keegan. So there are going to be some holes to plug in there. But that was Sharon's. I mean, he's not going to be coaching the offensive line per se this year, but our coaching staff has, on that side of the ball, has a history of training up offensive linemen. The big question is going to be, once you get your offensive line set, who's going to be the quarterback? I'm going to get to that at the end. So Mike Park's not coming back. Apparently, Michigan's going to be more. We're moving more towards a paradigm of participating more in the NIL. So apparently, Sharon Moore has been really, really stumping to get the NIL, to get Michigan more involved with the NIL, and to get Michigan more in support of the NIL, because otherwise they're going to miss out on a lot of kids. It's going to be hard to reload the roster without participating in that. Speaking of Sharon Moore, it sounds like he was here in the DMV for the State of the Union. So whichever congressman or congresswoman, one of the Michigan congressmen or congresswomen invited him to the State of the Union. So Sharon was here. But in any case, it looks like we're moving from a paradigm that was not as supportive of the NIL to a paradigm that's more supportive of the NIL, which will be very, very good because that'll give Michigan a chance to compete against the other institutions. I think Texas A&M is the poster child for the NIL in terms of paying kids to go there. But as Sam Webb said, you also want to establish a culture. You just don't want mercenaries coming on campus for the money. You want them to come to the school and develop a love for the school and buy into the culture that you have going on there. Okay, speaking of Sharon Moore and the defensive coaching staff. So the defensive coaching staff has, for the most part, been filled in. So I'm just going to read over some of these names really quickly. So we know that Wink Martindale took over for Jesse Minter. So the transition in that regard should be pretty seamless. But the coaches themselves are going to be different. So Don Wink Martindale is going to be the new defensive coordinator. Greg Scruggs is going to be the new defensive line coach. The linebackers coach / run game coordinator is going to be Brian Jean Mary. He's probably Haitian, like Mike Sainer still. Run game coordinator. I'm not sure if that means has to mean he's going to be in charge of defending the opposing team's run game. I've never seen that before. Linebackers coach / run game coordinator. I doubt that he's going to be coaching offense and defense. Let's see. So the defensive backs coach / pass game coordinator is going to be Lamar Morgan. Okay. So Brian Jean Mary is going to basically be in charge of coaching against the other team's defense, the other team's running game. And okay, here's the fun one. I'm going to clown Johnny when he comes back to the channel. So Michigan has also brought on Brad Hawkins as a graduate assistant after he spent 2 seasons on the NFL practice squads following 5 years as a defensive back at the University of Michigan. Those of you who watch me, you know that I respectfully joke with Johnny about Brad Hawkins. Any kid who plays on the Michigan roster has my respect. Any kid who gets drafted and at least makes the practice squad, any kid who does that has my respect. So, all right. So that's the defensive. That's the new defensive staff. Now the critical thing. I was listening to the Michigan Insiders and also pondering this myself. The critical thing is going to be the transition from these veteran players that Jim Harbaugh and that the previous staffs are leaving to Sharon restocking the cabinet. Okay, that's going to be the key thing. So you're not going to see. So the defense should still be pretty stout this year, assuming few injuries or no injuries. Okay, on the offensive side of the ball, whoever plays quarterback, that's going to have a huge impact on how the offense goes. But Sharon's going to have to restock the cabinet. Otherwise, if he doesn't, we're going to see a huge drop off. We may see a huge drop off in the coming seasons after this season. So I have no doubt. I'm confident that if Michigan stays healthy, they can be one of the playoff teams this year. But we have to keep our eyes on what's going to happen in the years after that. And that's going to be Sharon's test. Can he keep the culture going? Can he restock the roster so that there's depth at most positions? Okay. So the playoff. So it started as 12, and now it looks like there's going to be 14. Okay. So And so yeah, so I think Michigan, this team 145. I don't see why team 145 wouldn't be one of those 14 playoff teams. So, but it's going to be a different road though, as Johnny pointed out on his channel. Now you have to win to get to the national title game. You're gonna have to win three straight games, 3 to 4 straight games. So it's going to be a completely different landscape. Let me read some comments here. Antoine is very bullish that there won't be a drop off. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I think I'll start here with Fletch. Fletch says, I hope Michigan can pull this thing together. A lot of respect for what UGA is doing, for UGA doing what they did. I don't want Michigan to sell out just because they won a natty. When you say sell out, what do you mean? Jay Marion says, yeah, Quentin Johnson coming back, so that helps with Sab leaving. Okay. Barnum from Maryland, yeah, I hear he's really, really good. So he's gonna, yeah. I believe he's a linebacker. He's a linebacker, right? Yeah, he's a linebacker. Antoine says, I keep up with recruiting, so I know Michigan. I know what Michigan has coming. Don't worry about Michigan. Okay, Antoine says. Antoine saying there will be no drop off. Yep, linebacker from Maryland, Barnum. Michael Burden says, Colston Loveland is going to be an All-American. Well, Michael, that's gonna, whoever is QB1, that's going to impact the season that Colston has. Now, Colston, as a tight end, he was more of a pass-catching tight end. He did get out and block, but I think he was more of a pass-catching tight end than a blocker, so we might see his game further evolve this season. Antoine says, Michigan got a bunch of people that I want to see. The problem is most Michigan fans listen to the silly national media who knows next to nothing about Michigan. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. If you see fit, please consider subscribing to the channel. Michael Burden says Orgy. Yep, Orgy seems to be the favorite to take over for JJ McCarthy. Okay. Antoine says I could say a bunch of names now. The majority of people wouldn't even know who I'm talking about, so I won't even bring them up. He says, don't worry about the offensive line. We've had guys that have been waiting their turn for 2 to 3 years, and most of them have game experience. All right. Well, I love it. I love it then. Please smash that like button, everyone. Mason Blue Mike says, love us under the radar. He says, ask Alabama about that one. Okay. Jay Marion says, Faxi Antoine, Raheem Anderson, Jeff Parsi, Gio, Ben Roebuck coming in. He's huge. Seen him in person. Antoine says, Al Haidi, Crippen, Hinton. Okay. Jay Marion says 100. I want to see Eno Etta. Antoine says we won't see it, Doc, so no drop off. Antoine's predicting no drop off. So you're hearing it here first. No drop off after team 145. No drop off. I got to see if I can show you something on Twitter because I got to show you my recruiting files. Okay, yeah, please do. Michael says 12 teams for the next 2 years in 2026 and then 14 in 2026. Okay, so it's going to be 12 teams this year. But I still don't see why Michigan, with what they have coming back on defense, I think the defense will probably carry the team early unless we get surprised. I don't see why they couldn't be one of those top 12 teams. Okay. All right, so I think I will. Yeah, the quarterback. That's my last talking point here, and I'll drop the link if someone else wants to come up, and I'll entertain for about 20 to 30 minutes. And I think Antoine says I got to drop my recruiting files on you, Doc. I'll let you see what we got coming. Okay, and then Fletch says I feel the quarterback position is not going to cut it. We have athletes, but are they quarterbacks? We will see what Orgy does, but not happy about it. Well, Fletch, it's an unknown. He's unproven in terms of throwing the ball. I mean, we know he can run. We know he's big. Coach Harbaugh said he's essentially Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe could throw the ball. So if he can throw the ball and he's mobile, then he just has to get the experience and the repetitions back there, calling protections, getting that real game experience, reading defenses, and being the guy. But if he's in fact like Jalen Milroe, then he can throw the ball around. We just haven't seen it because he wasn't asked to do it with JJ being QB1. Mike, Mason Blue Mike says, no, Antoine, let's see. Newbert, hello, Go Blue. Newbert, thank you for being here. Antoine says, can you imagine Michigan running RPO with Orgy and Mullins? People could barely stop our regular running game. What happens when you have to deal with Orgy too? Jay Marion says, I think Orgy is good enough to play in the Big Ten. He's a big kid. He's mobile. Let's see if he can throw the ball and read defenses. All right, everyone. Mike, anybody, if you want to come up, I will drop the link right now and I'll hang out for a little bit longer. If not, I am going to find some food and some libations and a cigar somewhere. I'm going to drop the link right here. In terms of the NFL draft, Joe Klatt, he's pretty high on JJ. I mean, he's not going to be the first quarterback taken off the board, but I'm thinking about Buckeye Alex. Buckeye Alex didn't give JJ. Buckeye Alex never gave JJ a lot of credit, but JJ seems to be making a name for himself at the combine. So the StreamYard link is there if anyone wants to come and chat and put your 2 cents in on this. Jay Marion says, and if you don't, no pressure, I'll just read your comments and I'll wrap up shortly. Jay Marion says, Orgy only needs to throw 15 to 18 times a game for real. Let Don, Ben Hall, and Mullins do the rest. Okay, everyone, I have been joined by Maize and Blue Mike. Yeah, I think the big thing for any quarterback is not to turn the ball over. Make those timely throws when the team needs it in big games, but also don't turn the ball over. Mike, give me a second here. I'm trying to see why. Okay, that's the window on this phone. It's guests. Okay. Maize and Blue Mike, what's going on?
I can't call it. What's going on with you, Doc?
Nothing much.
Man,
Moved it back for you, man. I was going to do this at 5 o'clock, but 5:30. But I said I got to see what Maize and Blue Mike is talking about.
Yep. Like we said earlier, man, still basking in the afterglow of that national championship. I ain't gonna let none of these haters, especially these Buckeye fans, steal our joy.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
I think we still have every reason to be optimistic. There's no reason we got on the yard, and we still got all spring, we still got all summer and fall camp to get ready, man. I think this team has a chance to be 10-2. we beat Texas, our stock is going to be on the rise. So I think we're going to be just fine. And I'm right there with Antoine. I think we're going to be just fine.
Okay. Okay. Which quarterback are you trending towards? Which one are you on the orgy train? Are you thinking that we need a grad transfer? What do you think?
No,
Right.
no, I think we're definitely on the orgy train, man, because orgies. I think he's going to be better than Milroe was for Alabama, and I think they're really working with him as far as that arm he's got, man. Because our new quarterbacks coach, well, shoot, I think he's been working with him as far as his accuracy and getting him that touch. I think we're going to be fine.
Okay. All right. Now, are you confident that the defense won't miss a beat?
Oh yeah, defense ain't gonna miss a beat, man. Because I think they're gonna carry us for the first part of the season. They definitely gonna keep us in the game with Texas, and if we can maul over Texas, because I know they're gonna be looking for that run, and if Orgy can make a couple of throws that he need to make, and that's what's going to get Loveland to be that All-American, man. Because when you got a quarterback that's trying to get in there, he already knows that tight end is going to be his best friend, and you're going to make sure you get Loveland that ball. And then like you said, still got Smudge and Tyler Morris, man. We're gonna be fine.
Okay. I'm pulling up the schedule right now.
Long as we beat Texas. That's going to be the key to coming together. And when we beat Texas, and we should be able to beat Texas at home, the media is going to but screw the media. If they don't believe in Michigan, that's fine. They never saw us. They was all against us anyway all last year. So we don't need to worry about the media. We need to just take care of our business. We take care of business, we're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got the
So
schedule coming up, you said?
yeah, I got it right here. So the spring game's on April 20th.
Right.
Michigan opens up against Fresno State on August 31st. And then Texas, the Longhorns come to Ann Arbor on September 7th. Okay, yeah, I can't think of the last time a Power Five, a major Power Five opponent from the previous year came to the Big House. September 14th, Arkansas State. September 21st, USC, Southern Cal, not South Carolina, everyone. Southern California comes to the Big House.
And you know Southern Cal don't scare us anyway because they ain't got no defense.
Right. So we should be able to move the ball on them pretty good. Minnesota, September 28th. Minnesota comes to the Big House. October 5th, Michigan goes out to Seattle to play Washington. So a rematch, well, somewhat of a rematch for the national title game.
Yeah, but all their horses left, went pro. So
yeah, and their coach.
They don't scare
me. Okay. Let's see. So then there's a bye week. And then Michigan goes to Champaign, Illinois to play Illinois.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. October 26th, Michigan hosts Cal U. Michigan little brother.
Yep. They ain't nobody.
And then November 2nd, Michigan hosts Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks.
That's going to be real interesting.
Yeah,
because Oregon going to be the truth. I want to see, because we'll be playing better ball in November, so that's definitely going to be more than a 50-50 game. So I'm not ready to predict that one yet, but that's going to be tough, even at home.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is, so we know Oregon's going to play defense. They're physical, but I'm wondering who's to replace Bo Nix. If they can get a quarterback that'll replace Bo Nix and they can move the ball, yeah, they'll be pretty dangerous.
Well, you know, Dante Moore is going to be there. He decided to stay with them instead of coming back with us.
Okay.
So they gonna be fine at quarterback.
Okay.
But
Let's
they
see.
will have a first-year quarterback, just like we're having a first-year quarterback.
Okay. November 9th, Michigan goes to Bloomington to play Indiana.
No, ain't gonna be no problem.
And then November 23rd, Michigan hosts Northwestern.
That's gonna be interesting because we thought the cover was bare with Northwestern last year. You know, Northwestern won their bowl game. They were a bowl team. Yeah, Northwestern's gonna be interesting, especially in November.
Okay. And then it's back to the horseshoe
Right.
to play the tough team. The 30th.
But he's still looking for Notre Dame, though.
In Columbia. Not Columbia, in Columbus.
Right.
You know, Mike, you're gonna make me play my Ryan Day drop, man. Hold on. Where's Lou Holtz?
Idiot. Blackbeard.
Let's see if I have it queued up.
You probably got it.
Yeah, here we go.
Now, I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe.
Okay. Hold on, Mike. So, Ryan, what did Lou Holtz say about your team?
He has lost to Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Michigan twice, and everybody that beats him does so because they're more physical than Ohio State. And I think Notre Dame will take that same approach.
That never gets old.
No, it does not. And Lou, Holtz was telling the truth.
Yeah.
But to me, if it wasn't for Notre Dame having the 10-man stand, they would have beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
But my thing about Notre Dame is, man, they need to join the conference and give up on this independent crap.
Yeah.
They need to just buck up and join the Big Ten, and we can have Florida State or somebody else, and we go 20. But, you know, they're just wimps about it, man.
Well, you know, in the college football playoff talk, it sounds like they kind of like one of those spots is for them.
But see, they know that they need to join a conference because they have to go. They almost have to only have one loss to make the college football playoff. If they got 2 losses, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
the only bargaining chip we really have on our side is 2 of them. USC joined the Big Ten, and we have NBC as a partner. I think between those 2, I think we might be able to get Notre Dame over the edge and finally join the Big Ten. If not, screw them. I'm not putting them. There's no reason for the Big Ten to prostitute themselves just to get Notre Dame to join the conference. If they don't want to join the conference, screw them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we will. Let's see. We're at 49 minutes. Antoine's in the chat shredding Ohio State right now. I was watching a Chip Kelly interview this week, and he seems like a pretty reasonable guy. After listening to him talk, I like Chip Kelly. Do you think he's gonna instill some toughness in that Ohio State offense?
No, because he's all about finesse. You know, he all about the offense. He all about the high power. He want to make the wide receivers and the quarterbacks look good. He don't think running the ball is sexy, even though he had a few, running backs playing for him. He all about throwing that ball. If they gonna be that finesse thing. He ain't about the power.
Okay. Hey, Antoine, what do you think about Chip Kelly? So let us know what you think about Chip Kelly. Is this going to be the same old Ohio State, or is he going to pull something out of his bag of tricks that's going to save Ryan Day's job?
If anything, I think Chip Kelly is going to be the replacement for Ryan Day. But I don't know if Ohio State hiring, because as far as they're concerned, he could have stayed at UCLA being their head coach.
Well, apparently he doesn't like. He got tired of doing all the CEO stuff. He just wants to. He just wants to coach football. He doesn't want to be the CEO and go to all the meetings, and uh, he wants his hands back in the X's and the O's.
We'll see how that works for him.
Yeah. Antoine says, let's see, Jay Marion says Chip Kelly quit on them kids at UCLA. And then Antoine says Chip Kelly likes to run outside zone. That's not a tough running scheme. And then he says, and the only reason why Chip Kelly started running is because Jim Harbaugh was whooping his ass with Stanford running the ball. Apparently, they're good friends and they go way back, Chip Kelly and Ryan Day. So I don't know that Ryan Day would bring him in to replace him, but certainly if he loses to us again, his head will definitely be on the chopping block.
Well, according to Ohio State people, Chip Kelly, they brought in Chip Kelly because remember the one guy went and took he took the job. I forget which job he took because remember Ohio State had brought in was it O'Brien? It was O'Brien. They brought O'Brien in, and then he left and took a job, and then that's why they brought in Chip Kelly. But it's supposed to be to train Hartline because they don't think Hartline ready to run the offense and be the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think what job O'Brien took that opened up.
Jay Marion says it's Boston College.
It's Boston College. Yeah, there it is. It's Boston.
Because he was the Patriots guy.
Yes.
With Belichick.
And he was on the Alabama staff, but they never won the championship while he was at Alabama. Never won the Super Bowl while he was with the Patriots. So that tell you something right there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much. So Mike, before we go, you still feeling the euphoria from the Natty?
Oh yeah. And like you said, we need to meet up at the spring game because we need to go ahead and go to that spring game just to see what they look like in person, get a line for them. But if Orgy can make some throws, I think we'll be just fine because we already know he can run the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and with Colston Loveland there, I mean that's his little. That should be his little Troy Aikman, Jay Novacek safety blanket, like it was for JJ.
Yep. And then Denico can be a nice little curveball too. I mean, he's a nice quarterback and he's got some decent speed too, but he's just not as durable as Orgy is.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, yeah, we just I just want to come on and talk some football. There's not much basketball to talk about. Man. We're talking about getting Juwan Howard out of there now. So
I think the only thing's going to save Howard is that he had that open heart surgery at the beginning of the season, and they're going to give him one more shot at it. But he better come out like gangbusters because if he don't make the tournament 3 years in a row, he won't have any excuse. I mean, I don't want to run the brother off because he's warm and dear to my heart. You know, Fat Five. But 3 years without making a tournament, I think that's calls for running you off the yard.
Well, he also, Dickinson also got out of there last year, so that was a huge loss for the program.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. Go ahead, everyone, if Orgy gets the starting spot, Antoine, he's been really tooting the horn of the RPO, so we may be a heavy RPO team next year. I mean, we saw some of that with JJ, but Orgy is a bigger kid, so he'll likely be able to take a few more hits than JJ could. So look out for the RPO next year.
And I agree with Antoine. I think he is going to be that heavy RPO guy because, man, it's gonna be dangerous to stop, especially with Donovan in the backfield. You get Mullen back there too, man. That's gonna give something interesting. I mean, we're gonna be mulling over them like grass.
Okay. So Mike, while I have you and Antoine there in the chat, let me ask you this. So Donovan this year, I mean, he had to share carries with Blake last year. And the 2022 season when we lost to TCU, Donovan, I mean, he broke some big runs early, but when he got the full-time job, he really did some damage, especially against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like, his big runs this year, and we were all waiting for him to break out. His big runs were running into the line and then bouncing back out.
Mm-hmm.
He did that several times. It was beautiful to watch. Is he okay? What's your take on Donovan? You think he's going to have a breakout year next year?
I think he will, because he'll be the feature back, and he knows that he'll be the man. And then you always need that pair and the spare. So with Mullins being able to carry a mail, and then maybe Hall, or Marshall, one of them guys step up. I think the running back crew is going to be just fine. I also like Donovan running that delayed draw. He's deadly at that delayed draw, because that's some of the things you were just describing. That's delayed draw all day long.
So that's those are the two big runs he got against Washington.
Yep.
Because both of those runs, he went in, there was no hole there, and he bounced it back out and he took off. And then when we played Penn State, he had some big runs against them. It was the same thing. He ran up the middle, didn't have anything, and he bounced it out.
Yep.
So, yeah. Antoine says Donovan is a scat back. We should use him catching passes out of the backfield, getting the mismatch on linebackers. Okay.
That would be
I
deadly
think
too.
this should be a big year for Mullins too. Mullins made a huge catch. That huge catch against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
JJ rolled out, and Mullins caught that ball going out of bounds. He made an NFL catch. So he's got a lot of potential this year.
I remember that big run he had against Nebraska too. Mullins is deadly. And then, like I said, if we can get Marshall or Hall, because you always need a pair and a spare. You just do.
Mm-hmm. Antoine says, I want to see Mullins and Hall in the backfield at the same time. And Kurt Campbell ran that 22 formation, and I was loving. Okay. Yeah, I would love to see those jumbo packages, more of those jumbo packages.
And then if Campbell can keep working on Orgy's arm to get him that touch, man, all Orgy's gonna have to make is those few throws to keep the chains moving or hit somebody downfield. Boom, we're gonna do our thing. It's gonna give teams a lot to think about.
Okay, I'll read a few more, then I'll wind this down. Jay Marion says Don can have 1,000 rushing and receiving yards. Yeah, he's like a Marshall Faulk, Tron candidate, all purpose kind of guy.
Man, if Dono gets 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving, that sounds like a Heisman Trophy campaign to me.
You're right. Antoine says, yes, I've been begging for Michigan to run draw plays or Percy Harvins. Antoine says, I want Donovan to run those Texas routes off the backfield. Mullins can also block. He had a few pancakes. Okay. Amazing Blue Mike, you got anything else?
Nah, that's pretty much it. I just encourage our family to continue to bask in the afterglow of this national championship. Screw all the haters. let's do our thing and let's go blue and let's get ready for another season. Let's defend that title.
Yeah, and I'll say one other thing from the NFL Combine. The number of players they've been talking about, the number of players off of Team 144 has been it's a large number of players.
18.
18.
And I'm thinking out of 18, I'm thinking 16 get drafted. Hey, Antoine, how many you think gonna get drafted? I'm thinking 16.
Yeah, Antoine, what do you think of those 18 players? How many will get drafted? Or anybody? Anybody? Jay Marion says 16. 16.
Okay.
Probably. Okay.
It just speaks of the chat. That's why I laugh when people want to sit back and call us a bunch of cheaters, all because we won. I mean, man, we didn't cheat. They know we didn't cheat in the back of their mind. That's their conscience trying to get over on, why they think we won, but that's bull crap. And I'm
Well,
not
apparently,
accepting.
Ohio State, I keep hearing murmurings that they're being investigated for something.
They are. They have some improper contacts with the agents and all that stuff. So they self-imposed. They self-reported. So
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we ain't the only ones that cheat, huh?
No, yeah, and yeah, things got pretty vicious around that time, but yeah, things worked out for us. Trevor Coles says enter the building. He says, wait for it. He says, y'all losing the off season for sure. See, Trevor, you're gonna get Antoine fired up, man.
Them haters. Stay off the hater, Ray Trepper.
Yeah, Trepper. I think the key for us is going to be the quarterback position. I think. Yeah, it's not a. If I'm an Ohio State fan, I wouldn't celebrate just yet. Yeah, don't. I wouldn't celebrate just yet. All right, Mason Blue Mike. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you for coming up, and yeah, thank you for suggesting that I push it back a little bit.
Well, thank you for inviting me up, Dot. Go Blue, and hopefully we catch each other during the spring game, man. If not, we'll catch each other before.
All right. All right, everyone. I'm going to. Antoine says he listens to Buckeye Scoop, so he's a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. All right. All right, everyone. I'm going to wrap this stream up, and I'm going to go get something to eat and something to drink. So, thank you for those of you who hung out in the chat. This is Big Discussion 76 Sports. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. Please like, share, and subscribe if you see fit. If you want to contribute something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. You could also leave a super thanks if you see fit. And yeah, with that, I think I'll wrap the stream up. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, I'm a writer. I wear several hats. The link to my newsletter is in the description box. I'm always looking for more names. And yeah, with that, everyone, I'll wrap this up. Again, I pinged Johnny Olden. He's been going live pretty regularly, and he said that he's up to come back to talk about the end of the last season and what to expect going into next season. So look for me and Johnny Olden to link up pretty soon. And plus, I gotta ask him about Brad Hawkins coming back to be a grad assistant. Respect to Brad Hawkins again. Any kid who earns a Division I scholarship and gets on the practice squad of an NFL team gets my respect. So I joke respectively. All right, everyone. Antoine says, peace doc. I will give you some encouragement on Twitter. All right. And he says, I'll give you the recruiting files. Appreciate that. All right. And here we go. This will be our parting shot. Antoine says, I'm going to tell you right now, if Orgy throws 65%, we're going to another championship. All right, everyone, you heard it here first from Antoine Johnson. He's very bullish on Alex Orgy and the run pass option. And if Alex Orgy can throw 65%, that's going to be good for Michigan. It's going to be great for Michigan. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there. Go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.